Hey Zuper, it's Devin. You just saw the end of my first video. My second video is right here. So we ended with the duos twist. The duos twist is probably the hardest twist of this game, I would say. It led to a lot of strategizing that had to be done between somebody that you're now tied to. Luckily, I got paired with Zach, and I knew Zach was going to be okay to work with. We had communicated earlier in the game. We had been on the same page up to this point, so we could do what we wanted to do. So I was paired with Zach, and we had to nominate throughout the whole day 2 different sets. I nominated Trinity Ruin and Castle Play, which ended up being the majority, but as ZBB Big Brother always wants to do, throw the twist in there, anybody who receives a nomination gets to go up. Me and Zach received 1. So everybody was nominated except for Jake and Swag. This is where Jake started getting some credit for staying off the block. Up until this point, Jake played a very good game, I feel. But we'll get into a little more later. But anyway, so on the block was, like I said, everybody but Jake and Swag. I knew that Trinity Ruin and Calcioflay were probably going to get a majority of the votes. But as time went on, Kiwi, Connor, and Jace is my ally, were seen as an easy out. So a lot of people in the house voted for them, and the public also felt they weren't playing the greatest game so far either. So they went home. So that's why I nominated Trinity Ruin and Calcioflay, because they were the biggest threats, and I felt some people thought they weren't playing the game correctly. But like I said, the public decided to do Kiwi and Jace. Wasn't too comfortable with this, but there wasn't a lot I could do to prevent it with how much of the vote they got. So this is where in the game, as where I was playing a very open, public, and leading role, I felt in the beginning, I knew I had to tone it down a little bit. You can't always be the leader in this game. Sometimes you have to relinquish some of that control to others, so that way you can advance your game even further. I felt if I was too vocal or too powerful at this point in the game, that target will instantly come back on my back. Because I was nominated for the Duos Twist, which is 1 nomination. I don't really feel that really gives me like a huge target in the game at that point. It was 1 nomination. There was nothing I could do about it with the twist, but I don't feel it was really deserving. I think we got 9% of the vote that day. But anyway, this is where I said I kind of had to feel where I kind of had to lay low. Some people call it floating. Now, floating, I feel, is when you just go through the game and you're like, okay, I'll do that, to one or 2 people. Okay, I'm just going to do that. That never happened during this game for me, so I know some people said that towards the end of the game, that's what I did. Not the case at all, actually. Very far from it. If I feel what you want to do is not something that's going to be best for me, then I'm not going to do it. And you might be angry or upset, but at the same time, it's not floating. I just don't agree with you. And you feel that maybe I'm doing something that somebody else wants to do. I probably came up with the idea. That's how I feel at most points in this game. Other people can deny it. They will, because we all want to claim moves. But anyway, I just made sure that in this game nothing happened too far out of how I didn't want it to happen. But anyway, that's my idea of what this part of the game, laying low. So anyway, on to the next day, day 7. The nomination was supposed to be Soflay and Rumin. We all knew that they were a duo. We all wanted them up. Soflay got 11 nominations, which is everybody. I think Rumin got 7, which was great. They were going to go on the block. But Trinity forgot to evict, unfortunately, and she went on the block as well. Somewhat ruined the duo of them going out, because Trinity ended up going home. If this didn't happen, I have no doubt that this game would have been drastically different at the end than it was. if she had sent that vote into evict, I don't know what would have happened in the rest of the game. But all I can say is I don't think the final four would have been the same. I think there would have been a little bit difference in it. How, I can't really say because there were several days after this, but that's just my feeling. So I'm somewhat glad she went home because I don't know how it would have affected my game. Because at one point we were working together, talking in alliance, and at one point she kind of turned on that towards around this time. So like I said, she went home. If she didn't vote, if she would have voted to evict, the game would have been different. So anyway, so she went up. So playing Rumen up once again. The nom set was basically something everybody wanted. It wasn't anybody's singular idea. It was something that basically most of the house was like, let's do it. Some of them were like, let's do Soulflake Calibi. At this point in the game, me and Calibi were still on good terms, so I wasn't going to nominate him. I nominated Soulflake Rumen. Trinity went home though. So accomplished the goal, unfortunately out of our control, that she didn't evict and she went home. Then comes the Aegis twist. So the Aegis twist is where whoever had this power could save themselves from the block. This is also the day I decided that Jake was getting a little too much power within this house because he had gone unnominated. So I took a leap and nominated Jake and Cal. It did not go through. I'm okay with this actually because I felt I was the first person to really step out and say, hey, these people are a threat. This is who I'm going to nominate. Come along with me if you want to. Maybe looking back, the people who decided not to go with me would do it now at this point, since Jake and Cal made it to the final four. Didn't happen. It ended up being me, Gogatan, Cal, and Rumen. Gogatan went home. This is the day where I mean, I'm not afraid to admit, I lost a little bit of control of the game, and I felt that I had to be a little more vocal within the house and step up, make a little more make some more connections, well, make my connections stronger, I should say, because Jake used that Aegis twist. He was safe. A bunch of people went up, but once again, a bunch of people went up with me. I somewhat knew Jake had it towards like 5 hours before day change. I even messaged him and was like, wow, I should give it to you. Good on. At that point, nobody really wanted to change, so there wasn't much we could do. I stayed though. Most of the times when I went up, I knew I was going to stay. Thanks to all your support, Zuper. Love you guys. Thank you very much. And then came the revenge twist. Another point where I didn't have a lot of control. A lot of the evictees that nominated me, they were mad at me because I had somewhat of a hand in their demise, and they didn't like that. So of course they're going to nominate me because it's for revenge. I really think that this actually speaks somewhat of volumes for my game that I was nominated by the revenge twist, because it shows that, hey, I made these people upset because I made some moves that ended up with them out of the game. But once again, I was safe, and Rumen went home. Alright, so also after this, so I'm going to go to my end game after this video. See you soon.